Good morning. I am ready to get your creative prompt for this week. Like I said last week, and I promised a video last week. So there is a video that is being recorded, even though it's just me in my studio. Check that out if you want the video version on the Unstarved Artist off of YouTube. Okay, today, a few housekeeping things. Sarah and I will be doing a Unstarved Artist meet and greet Saturday, October 29th between 3 and 5 p.m. Come hang out at Amori Queso, which is, let's give you the address, 2932 Main Street in Dallas. It's going to be super relaxed. It's just come, stop by, say hi, meet Sarah and I in person, come look at her shop and the beautiful things that she's doing there too. I'll bring some artwork. If maybe I'll bring this one. I'll bring the my lace girl. I think it's time for community events. I think the only way that this is going to grow is if we start seeing each other in person locally, and then getting you more in touch with each other through technology to where you're really seeking each other out as a collective and leaning on each other whenever you are in a bind or stuck or need work. Then your creative prompt for this week is creating out of the love of creating versus creating from expectation, and putting things in two pillars. When a painting is not flowing, I have to check why it's not flowing. A lot of the times, it'll be a commission piece that I'm doing to fulfill someone else's vision, and I'm still loving creating it. I'm still getting fed from creating. I'm still working towards my goals of fulfilling my client's vision, which I enjoy that. But it's not that I'm creating from a place of sheer love, just for the sake of painting. You can look at my body of work, the one that is behind me if you're in the video, which is my zygote that's in the lace veil. That one is all out of love. If you go back to my modern Medusa piece, that one was created just out of complete love. And artists have to find this happy ground of booking and making sure that bills are covered with still fulfilling their creative needs. And I love that Sarah and I came up with this prompt because I was going to do it based off of creating from a place of love or versus a place of fear. But she flipped it. And I love how she flipped it, is creating out of a place of love versus creating from a place of expectation. And I think there's something super meditative that happens whenever we create with no expectations. Like we're just sitting down and drafting. If you're designing, like you're just thinking about what can that object or that graphic look like, just because that's something that you want to do, not necessarily that's something that's in demand. For me, and creating out of a place of love, it's like sheer artwork, painting. My graphic stuff is fun. And I do find that I don't know, I do find that I get fulfilled in a way, but there's nothing that helps me like sitting down and painting just for myself. And it's cleansing. I love it. I read this quote. Oh, look, I've been reading out of a book named Salt. Mhm, mhm. If you're in the video, that's what it looks like. And on page 194, I read this morning. I read it a few times this last week. I always go back to this book when I need a little artistic boost. Okay, so on 194, it says, "Remember, you were a writer before you ever put word to paper. Just because you were not writing externally does not mean you weren't writing internally." And I wonder how much of us, like this craft, was already in us. And as we grew up as we went to school, college, went through our lives ups and downs, we started tapping into our craft more and started understanding our craft more. And I think when we initially tap into our craft, it's from a place of curiosity and love. And then as we start making bookings, that it really comes from a place of expectation. This isn't, neither of these are wrong. It's just one feeds us internally and the other one is feeding us externally. And sometimes they come together and have this lovely place of meeting. But when I create from a place of love, it's my best work. It is when I am honing in my skills. That's why I have to do paintings in between commission pieces. It's not for the sake of creating another piece of artwork to try to sell. It is always from a place of I have to cleanse my palette and get perspective. And it actually helps me in that commission piece when I have a side project going on for myself. Modern Medusa was this way. The Joe Rogan painting was like this. Some of those techniques that I learned during my Joe Rogan painting, I've been able to feed into my large commission pieces. The lace zygote that's behind me, she has some of the really tight line work. This one has made me understand pressure and how to apply pressure even more than any other piece that I've done in my past. And I've used those techniques in my large commission pieces to the point where I actually went back and where I thought I was done with the piece, I had a moment of it can be better. And you just need to sit down and do it and use these new techniques. And that's what I did. This is really hard to do, but as an artist, because you have to feed yourself, like starving artists at 25 is really romantic. Starving artists at 38 is not. Take a look at where you're at in this and try to lean into that creating out of a place of the love of creating and see how that develops for you. I will catch you next week. And I hope to see you on the 29th for the meetup. If you can't be there, maybe I can run it to where I can just FaceTime you. I love you guys. Thank you so much for allowing me to lead you during this time. I will catch you next week.